This is the famous Astoria column in the city of Astoria, Oregon. Astoria was the first settlement west of the Rocky Mountains. It was established by John Jacob Astor, who was probably America's first billionaire or first famous billionaire, you know, before the famous Carnegies and the Rockefellers and the Morgans and these very famous billionaires we have today. You know, the Astors were it. You know, some people say his net worth at that time, which was $20 million, was around at least 110 billion today. And this is a column right here on top of a hill in Astoria. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a lot of historical markings on it. You know, like when the ships first came up the Columbia River, the Lewis and Clark expedition is up there, where I'm going to try to do a close-up of that right here. That's Lewis and Clark. And Thomas Jefferson, they came here, spent the winter of 1805, 1806 right around here yeah, and this is really just amazing. This is really amazing. It shows the first Native Americans, the first settlers, when the city was built. You know, yeah, you know, Native American canoes, and yeah, it's actually really, really fascinating. To me, it kind of reminds me of these really fantastic totem poles, you know, that these Native American have. See, they're like tall, beautiful structures, and this kind of reminds me of like a tall, beautiful, almost like a totem pole type of thing, you know, with stories and pictures on it. Maybe that's one of the reasons for the inspiration of this tower. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely amazing. This is really, really fantastic. I mean, I cannot believe it. I believe, yeah, one of the Astors was instrumental in creating this. One of the descendants of John Jacob Astor. Yeah, this is just absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's just a big sign up there that says Fort Astoria, built in the year 1811. And so this is right up on the tower, and then we're going to walk right up here to the city of Astoria. You know, let's just walk over here. This is absolutely amazing. I'm here at a public park, so we're just going to walk up here to the city. And we can overlook the city on this tower. It's a beautiful view. And yeah, let's just walk over here. This is just absolutely amazing. There's there's a beautiful view of the city from right here. You know, and like, I don't know if you could see it, but again, you can see there's a bridge there. That's the famous Astoria Megler Bridge, and it's 4 miles long. It is the longest bridge in North America. The longest bridge in North America. It's over 4 miles long. And you can see Astoria down there. You know, and fantastic things about this city. Again, it's the oldest city in Oregon, founded in 1811. The first American settlement west of the Rockies, close to the mouth of the Columbia River where it meets the Pacific Ocean, named after John Jacob Astor, you know, America's first billionaire. And, you know, and the Astors were really famous, you know, America's first famous billionaires. I'm sure there's probably very wealthy people around there. I heard there were, but you know, they had the famous the richest 400 Americans, or the richest 400 people would have parties in New York. That was done by Carolyn Astor in New York. There's a community in New York named after Astoria. There's the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, which is very famous. 2 U.S. Navy warships were called the USS Astoria. One of them did sink in the Pacific during World War II, you know, when they were fighting the Japanese. So it's a really interesting, fantastic place here. Again, Lewis and Clark spent the winter here in 1805, 1806. At Fort Clatsop, which is just right southwest of here, you know, several miles. In 1811, the Pacific Fur Company, which was a subsidiary of the American Fur Company, which John Jacob Astor owned, came down here on a ship called the Tonquin. That's Tonquin, and they started a settlement at a fort right here in Astoria. And a couple months later, when they built the fort, British explorer David Thompson, he was the first person known to have navigated the entire Columbia River. He met them when they were building the fort. So they came here, and they were here for a couple months building the fort, and a couple months later, British explorer David Thompson came here. It's the Columbia River. I believe the first European to really discover this was Captain Robert Gray in 1792. And okay, so the Americans had this, but it was very short-lived. During the War of 1812, Astoria was way too far for any American troops to really come out here. That was really early. Most of the troops, was still, the colonies, and basically, up into the Great Lakes, they had some influence. But Astoria, so the American Fur Company had to sell Astoria to the Northwest Company, and it was very remarkable. During the War of 1812, there was really no violence between the Americans and the British in this area whatsoever. They peacefully sold it. And and they had that treaty in 1818, which was both British and American territory. The Oregon Territory, which is primarily Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia. They had that treaty, and it was very peaceful. The Americans and the British never really had any conflict whatsoever, or if anything, it must have been very, very minute, because you don't really hear about it. Because very peaceful, they coexisted. In 1846, by that time, a lot of Americans, settlers started coming here in massive numbers, especially in the 1840s. So the British, I believe, gave it back in 1846, or sometime there in the 1840s. They gave the fort back to the United States. The first U.S. post office was established here in 1847. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. It's absolutely amazing. The primary industries of Astoria were fishing. There were a lot of fish canneries. I think the last cannery closed down and moved out of here. And there were some lumber mills, and there's no more lumber mills. So the number one, so it's basically a big fishing, and lumber town, but those industries died down. And I know they still have some fishing stuff here. I don't think they have canneries, but they still do. I know they, I still have some facilities for that. Their main industry now is tourism. Tourism is one of their biggest industries, and that's one of the big. They have a huge art scene here too. Really, really neat. So it's become like a really cool historical tourist type of city. And this was really, really fantastic. Now, Astoria's sister city is Waldorf, Germany, and Waldorf, Germany is where the original John Jacob Astor was born. He was a German immigrant. He was born there on July 17th, 1763. And then he migrated to America, and he became, this really wealthy businessman. And the first famous billionaires, at that time, $20 million, I believe, so that was worth over billions of dollars today. That's what some people claim, And so it was really, really interesting. And again, these are some of the claims that said his worth was around 110 billion. But that's what some people claim. I've seen other things saying it was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, like around $700 million or so, whatever. America's first famous wealthy family was the Astors, before the famous Carnegies, Rockefellers, Morgans, and those other very famous the wealthy rich came around during the Gilded Age. And this is absolutely fantastic. Beautiful view here of the entire city of Astoria, and right here at the Astoria column, and there's a column right there. And I just want to wish you guys a fantastic, super, super, super happy day, and just have the happiest day ever.